All right, so welcome to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, to the body. So let's get with it. Let's talk some boxing. Let's talk about Virgil Ortiz versus Jerome Boots in it. Like, what's going on with this drama, right? And I've said this before that for me, the current situation is just bragging rights. You heard it correctly. Bragging rights between Eddie Hearn and Oscar De La Hoya, right? So right now, I think a couple days ago or earlier this week, Oscar had said, okay, well, look, if we want to make this fight, if we want to keep creating this drama, let's just finalize it. 60 goes to my guy Ortiz, and 40 goes to Jerome Boots Ennis, right? And an extra stipend for the winner. I don't remember exactly what it was. Some percentage maybe, or something like that. Extra percentage bonus. But for me, and I've been saying it the longest, I like sometimes circumstances are good, and I do agree with fans that also we gotta respect what fans want, right? Because sometimes fans don't care about the business side of it, but sometimes fans forget about circumstances or what's at stake. The truth is, the reality is, fans, by the history of boxing, the highest point of fanhood in boxing is to go for a belt, a championship fight, right? Be it a vacancy, a long reigning defense, a first defense, right? Or a unification, right? Fans love title bouts. Fans love title bouts. Let's not forget that, okay? And let's not downplay that. So you guys got to decide. That's the theme or the debate. How much do we appreciate the circumstances that Boots and Ortiz, either one of these two, should first go for a strap or get a strap or maybe even defend one, or maybe these two can meet in a unification bout, right? That makes the circumstances better. Focus on the word circumstances, right? So sometimes not the whole term of non-title fight can be reserved for different scenarios, different circumstances, right? Let's say you can have a great non-title fight from two opponents that lost their belts or one lost their belt. Like those are nice circumstances, right? But in this case with Virgil Ortiz and Boots, I've been saying to many, there's no rush in this fight. It's gonna happen. Right now, what Ortiz and Boots gotta do, right, to keep the narrative strong, what should their motivation be? Is to keep winning. Keep winning till we hit that threshold or until one of them finally gets a belt. But given the way that Oscar and Hearn are managing the theme between these two fighters, it's probably better that both get a belt. Because if one gets a belt before the other, it might even be crazier. We might even get more stallment, right, from that. It might be more delayed because then the splits change again, of course, right? So anyways, the belt always gives you more value. It also gives more value and selling power when the platform is really interested on it, right? Be it the zone or wherever else. When you sell to the zone, yo, we've got a title fight. They're in for it. Why? Because it's gonna bring more subs. It's gonna bring more theoretical pay-per-view buys. It's gonna help out that ultimate the zone package. Blah blah blah. That goes for any platform, but be it even the Amazon Prime if that thing still exists. All right. But the point is, a promoter's role, he's got to build the fighter, right? Help build the fighter. That's what their job is. You're paying the promoter to help you out, meaning the fighter. That's what you're paying them for. So if you're paying the promoters to build the fight, then there's no need to rush the fight, guys. And unfortunately, that just means that Virgil, Boots, and the promoters are just playing with the public, man. Don't get suckered into that. I always say don't get suckered into that right now. These guys don't even have straps yet. If anything, as fans, we're doing a disservice to Zayas, Bakram Murtazaliev, Fundora, what's that guy? Barao, or the other guy's name. You're doing a disservice to these guys because they're already champions, right? If anything, you should be talking about those guys more than Boots and Ortiz. But if you're saying, nah, Cuerpo, Angel, no, actually Boots and Ortiz is the best fight, all right, so you're justifying, you're proving the point that the fight's gonna be bigger when the time comes. You may not know that, but yeah, and I get it. There's insecurity. There's genuine insecurity that one of these two might lose during that process. But that's the motivation, guys. That's what you sign up for. The best fight the best. Let's preserve two undefeated guys are gonna go for it when that time comes. You know? And I've said this before. Some fans think it's funny that I say it, or I have this theory about it. But to me, I think the whole reason why we have Errol Spence in Oscar's mouth or even Virgil's mouth is because the PBC, given their such vital state in the sport of boxing, they're trying to do a Hail Mary to try and see if they can brew a fight that's going to benefit the PBC's vital stability, right? Because as far as I know, Amazon Prime, they ain't bringing anything. Barrios, Ryan Garcia is not Amazon Prime guys. That's very important key. So I know a lot of you don't follow the business side of it, but that means that, maybe Prime is just it's not here anymore, man. It's sad, but they're not here anymore. And so in the last stages of these vital signs, they're saying, okay, maybe we can hook up Errol Spence, or maybe a fight between Errol Spence and Virgil at Cowboy Stadium on Amazon Prime just might extend a new contract, a limited contract with Amazon Prime. But we gotta make that noise. So they're thinking themselves, they're saying it like that, right? And so to push that, you gotta tell Oscar, yo, Oscar, we have this plan. You could take most of the percentage in the fight. You could take 70 or 80% of all the proceeds, and we'll take 30, meaning Spence's team, right? Because Virgil keeps winning, right? He's also a premium commodity. And they know they're helping out Errol Spence. Again. Guys, they're helping out Errol Spence again in another exhibition fight that was, in my opinion, Crawford versus Errol Spence was somewhat of an exhibition because, and as other fans have said, I'm not the one that said it. I'm not the only one that said it, but what happened with the Ugas or Danny Garcia, I mean, hey, man, I'm just going to say it again, by design. By design to help out Errol Spence. Because Errol Spence did his part to help build PBC with Keith Thurman and Deontay Wilder, right? So they want to give back to Errol Spence. And Errol Spence, in my opinion, he's been a kind of a cool guy. Quiet, low-key, cool guy. So in my thing is, Spence is down with whatever idea. Maybe. But I think, again, guys, remember I said it in a previous video about Tank Davis, it's the management. So I don't even think Errol Spence was even aware of the talks between a fight with Ortiz, because I didn't even know that Errol Spence was still in the game. And Errol Spence must know that from the fans' point of view, right? So who's saying it? It's the management in the PBC, because vital signs, guys, vital signs. Yo, Oscar, we have an idea. Oscar, Oscar's always excited about. Oscar's a weird dude too. But Oscar, if anybody, he gets to be there. He's got the most allowance in the game just because of who Oscar is, what he represents, the fights that he took throughout his legacy. Oscar was a badass. They shout out to Fishnets too. It's a joke. But it makes no sense for me to think why would Virgil Ortiz mention Errol Spence? Why would Oscar mention Errol Spence? If some guys say it's leverage, right? But I think the reason they said it is because PBC brainwashed him. They cooked up a good plan to maybe salvage something on Amazon Prime that would be better than the Zone. But that may be contradictory because I know Oscar always defends the Zone side of business. Maybe not so much Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, but it might be in some situations that when Oscar is uncertain of a future for certain fighters on his own platform, which is the Zone, he might be open to a different platform. And that's what I think was with Errol Spence. Or maybe it's such a bad script from Golden Boy, right? that they think that Hearn and Boots would and the fans might be suckered into that by mentioning Errol Spence, but it don't make no sense, guys. Like, don't mention Errol Spence. That does Virgil Ortiz a disservice. All right? I know it's business, guys, because when it comes to Texas-based fighters, they try and brew it with the stadiums. What was the one guy that fought? Was it Brandon Figueroa or Omar Figueroa? What was the Figueroa that fought Ugas? If you guys could remind me. I think it's Omar Figueroa, right? I forgot which of the two brothers. I want to say Omar. Yeah, Omar Figueroa. Anyways, once upon a time, they asked Omar Figueroa and they asked Errol Spence a fight between them two because they're both Texas-based. That was also a big fight when Figueroa had beaten Guerrero, right? Robert Guerrero. Even I forgot what fights afterwards, but I don't know the fight he had with Ugas. I mean, I'm surprised Ugas didn't finish him off or carry because Ugas got more power, or who knows, maybe vice versa. I don't know, but I think they were always reserving Figueroa versus Spence. But of course, the car crash came and that derailed a lot of plans for the PBC with Errol Spence or anything Texas based. All right, so that's the reason why they're still kind of, I guess Errol Spence is in the mentioning from I don't know, guys. If I'm wrong, if I'm dead wrong, I apologize, man. I'll take the heat. I'll take the heat. But for me, this is what I think. I think Virgil Ortiz calling out Errol Spence is not genuine. He's being coached to say that. By who or influenced by what? Who knows? I already said my piece in the last 10 minutes, if that's how long this video was. Right? Management. Given Errol Spence's state, yo guys, Virgil Ortiz just fought Boachuk and Madrimov. He clearly knows that fighting Errol Spence is a major step down. That's a major step down. It don't even make sense to why I mentioned Errol Spence. Or it might be that maybe they're gambling on Boots' point of view. Or I'm ashamed to say this or even think this, that maybe Ortiz, because they're a bit spooked if should they lose against Boots, that maybe they're mentioning Errol Spence. I think that's the main idea from most fans, right? Like, why mention that? Why mention it? There's got to be a crazy reason. Maybe because they're afraid of Boots. Maybe. I give that maybe 2%, man. 2% at most. I want to go 1%, but now I'm going to go 2%. Meaning the other 98%, I give Virgil benefit of that he's saying that because he's being coached to say it. As a lot of fighters do in the game, they say weird stuff because their management tells them. You know? Same thing with Conor Benn and the David Haney Norman Jr. performance. That was not a matchroom show. So Matchroom was not even allowed to go on the canvas. Conor Benn can't jump on stage unless DHP invites him on stage. It's a DHP show with Top Rank. So Hearn's got no pull on that. He's got no right. He doesn't get the right to double dip on Haney's win. And the Haneys know their rights. They're not gonna let Conor Benn just walk into the ring when it's their promotion. Hell no. They ain't gonna allow it. And that's the reason why Conor Benn didn't even entertain it. If anything, Conor Benn had the right answer. He was like sleeping in the stadium. That's as far as it could go. And Conor Benn has a future. I got some good future videos for Conor Benn too. But I don't know, man. Again, guys. And then Boots. I don't know what Boots is saying much. I don't really care about all this splits or all. I think let that fight brew, man. That's the best thing that's gonna happen. Let the fight brew. Don't be suckered too much in what the media reports, because a lot of times that's even by design as well. The management, they leak things out to the media, so the media helps delay the theme or the narrative between this mega fight. They help it. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's what needs. That's the reason why they do it, right? Buy some time. Give it some time. And again, guys, there's already champions at 154. Bakram, Fundora, Zayas, Barao, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, right? We should keep eyes on those champions right now. Not so much Ortiz and Boots or worrying about the splits, all that garbage stuff, man. So anyways, that's my take on it, guys. Let me know what you guys think for Al Cuerpo Boxing to the Body, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.